Hello, my name is Chiffon Green. It is week 6 of microbiology. This week we are on environmental influences on microbial growth, salt tolerance testing. The first step I am doing is just basically getting all my materials together, and I have to mark my 1%, 7%, and 15% NaCl broths um, with S. cerevisiae and S. epidermidis. So I'm going to begin that. So here is a 1%, so I'm going to go ahead and put SCERE, a 7% S.CERE, and then the 15% SCERE. And then I'm going to do the same with the 3 other ones, except I'm going to put S. epidermidis. So I'm beginning with my S. cerevisiae, lighting my candle here. And I am going to pass my 1% tube of broth through the flame. Forgot to put my goggles on. There we are. Okay, so pass it through the flame. And I'm going to pass the S. cerevisiae through the flame to sterilize it also. Going to take my pipette out my alcohol here, shake it off. And I'm going to go ahead and put it in there. And it says 2 drops, excuse me. So 1, 2. And it says to go ahead and sterilize again and return the lid to it. So here's my 7%, so it's kind of the same thing, just sterilizing this. My pipette, and I'm going to 2 drops, re-sterilize, recap. And again, this is my S. cerevisiae. So this is my 15%. So sterilizing, taking my pipette, 1, 2. I don't need any more, so I'm going to go ahead and put that in there. Set that off to the side. I'm going to go ahead and sterilize. Recap, and it says to, of course, place my pipette in a container of bleach, which I will do, and then it says to perform steps 8 through 14 for my S. epidermidis, which are here, my 3 tubes, and I'm going to go ahead and re-sterilize my S. cerevisiae. Going to recap that, and I have to return it to incubation. And here I have my S. epidermidis to do this, so I'm going to go ahead and do those, so stay tuned for the next part. Okay, so my next step was to take pictures, which I have done here in my with my cell phone. I have taken pictures of all 6 tubes. The next step is to place broths in your incubation location for 48 hours, so I will return to the next steps within 48 hours. I observe after 24, and then if there's no growth, then 48 hours. So I will see you then. Okay, I am back after observing after 24 hours. I had no growth, so I let them incubate 24 more hours, and unfortunately I believe I have all negative test results in all 6 of them. The only one that is kind of cloudy and you really can't tell through the camera is my nutrient broth with 7% NaCl, my S. cerevisiae. My negative results can come from not having the best results prior to this lab with using the S. cerevisiae and S. epidermidis in a previous lab where my results didn't come out correctly. But what I'm going to do now is take the pictures of my final result and go ahead and dispose of everything as my instructions say to do. And then I am going to start my next exercise, which is exercise 2 for this experiment, called salt tolerance and pH testing. So I'm going to go ahead and begin that. I'm going to clean up my work area a little bit after I'm done with this, and then get all my stuff that I need for that, and I will be back. Thank you. Okay, so I'm beginning experiment exercise number 2, salt tolerance and pH testing. The first step is just to label my nutrient tubes with what they're telling me to label them. So I'm going to do that, and then I will begin my next instructions after I'm done labeling. Okay, so now it says to light my candle. I have my SFE pH 5 tube, so I'm going to pass it through the flame to sterilize it. Add exactly 1 drop of the HCl to the pH 5 tube to adjust the pH 5. Okay, so there's 1 drop past the opening of the broth over the flame candle to sterilize it. And then go ahead and close it up. And then to continue to do that with I'm supposed to repeat steps 9 through 11 for the pH 5. So I'm going to go ahead and do that, and I'll come back. So the pH 7s, we're not doing anything to quite yet. I'm on my SFE pH 9, so it's the same steps. We're going to remove the lid, sterilize it, and this time we're adding 1 drop of the NaOH to adjust its pH. We're going to flame it, cap it, and then do the same thing with my S series pH 9. So I will do that and come back with the next steps. Okay, so now we're adding our culture broths that we already had. So I'm removing my pipette. I'm sterilizing my broth tube. This is my S. epidermidis. And then I am taking my nutrient broth. I need to add 2 drops to each of my SFE pH broths. So again, sterilizing. And I am going to get my broth. And 1, 2. I'm going to re-sterilize, cap it, and I'm going to do the same to my SFE pH 7 and SFE pH 9. So now I'm on my S. cerevisiae. So I'm going to get my first tube out, grab my broth, along with my pipette. I'm going to sterilize everything. It says to add 2 drops. And sterilize and recap. And I'm going to do the same thing for my pH 7 and pH 9 for my S Sierra VCA. Okay, so now I am done with all 6 of my broths. So it says now to take my photos, which I have done with my cell phone, and to return my active culture broths to the refrigerator, and to let my pH broths incubate for 24 hours. If after 24 hours, if there is no growth, to let it go another 24 hours to see if any of the results change. So once I am done incubating, I will be back. Thank you. Okay, so now I am back with my 6 pH broth tubes. So it says to observe each tube, noting the turbidity of the broth. A clear broth is a negative test result. My 3 S Sierra VCAs, the pH 5, pH 7, pH 9, all 3 of them are my cloudy, turbidy ones, along with growth at the bottom, if you can see those. However, my S epidermidis vials, nutrient broths, they're not clear, but they aren't as cloudy and turbidy as the S Sierra VCAs. So I believe those would be a negative result. My S Sierra VCAs might be a positive result due to the turbidity in them. So the next step would be to record my observations in data table 5 of my lab assistant, and then take photos of my incubated tubes and put those into the lab assistant. And then, of course, clean up, soak reusable equipment, and wipe down with bleach and all that good stuff. I hope you enjoyed the video, part exercise 1 and exercise 2. Thank you very much.